Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Friday, August the 28th, last trading day of the week. Today, we do, of course, have Fed Chair speaking at the Jackson Hole event. That's going to be day number 2. He is going to be speaking at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here today. As for the overall markets, we end up having a nice bounce right off that previous day highs yesterday. So we talked about that break finally outside the range. Buyers, as you can see, stepped in right off our 768 here yesterday. The Q stepped in right off that 716. So we did get some nice upside here in the markets. A couple names moving higher. Nvidia post earnings. We ended up having a nice push towards the upside right off our key level, which was at 220. This one is pretty close to that all-time highs. Besides that, Tesla had a nice bounce. We did have a couple other things to talk about. MRVL earnings last night, dropping roughly around 10% today. We'll talk about that here in a second. But yeah, with that being said, hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, B Roots, TW. Good morning, Kelvin Wallace, Maria, Jtan, Cody. Good morning, Knight. What's up, Bobby? Gerald, Juan, good morning, Cinna, Lamit. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Good morning, Robert, Ron, Venus. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. That being said, let's pull up the economic calendar here and let's get started. So first things first, as you can see, we do have, of course, the Fed speaking. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today. We do definitely have to be cautious of the Fed speaking. Of course, the event is going to be going on all day as well, but the Fed speaking right at 10 a.m. We have some more red folder and orange folder news like revised consumer sentiment, but of course, the main thing is going to be the Fed speaking. And then we do have the Jackson Hole Symposium happening all day, plus we do have that tomorrow as well for day number 3. So those are the main things, at least for today. As I mentioned, we do have to be cautious. It's going to be 30 minutes into market open. With that being said, let's take a look at some of the major indices that we have coming into market open and what is the game plan here moving forward. So starting off here, let's just go on to the hourly time frame. This is going to give us the best picture. As you can see, the overall markets, at least for the SPY, we broke outside this range that we had marked out yesterday. So we marked out that 768 along with that 762, broke outside that range, retested it, and now we pushed up in towards that 772. So this is another higher time frame key level, one of the areas that we rejected from yesterday and previously. If we do want to see some upside here in the markets now, the break back above that 772, we can see a push back towards the upside here. So we'll keep an eye on that break above our 772 here today, which of course is that previous day highs as well. If we reject off this level, we're just going to come right back down in between the middle of the range. But if we can break above and hold above that previous day highs, then we can be looking for continuation towards the upside. As for the ES, the key technical levels that we have marked out here, very similar, is going to be that previous day highs kind of general area. As you can see right here, yesterday broke above that 77.10, retested, continuation towards the upside. Today, above our previous day highs hold, continuation towards the upside here is in play. So let's just keep an eye on that previous day highs for the SPY. As for the QQQ, very similar thesis. Key technical levels that we have marked out, 710 to our 716. You can see yesterday broke above in the after hours with, of course, Nvidia earnings, retested that 716, and we end up having a nice bounce back towards the upside. Key technical levels that we have marked out here now is going to be that 722. If you want to see continuation towards the upside, above our 722 hold for a push up in towards that 728, which is that daily gap that we have back towards the upside. So let's keep an eye out on that previous day highs here as well. Mark out that 722 if you want to see continuation above our previous day highs for a push towards the upside. Another possible scenario, looking for some sort of reclaim setup above that 720 for a push up in towards that 722 here is in play as well. So Let's keep an eye out on that previous day highs coming into market open. We still very much well could reject off this area. So we do have to be cautious of that previous day high rejection here on both the SPY and the Qs. But after breaking outside this range, we flipped, held yesterday. I'd be more inclined to trading longs above our previous day highs here in the overall markets. If we took a look at the semiconductors here coming to market open, kind of similar thesis. The semis have been a little bit weaker as of recent. We did have a nice pop with NVIDIA earnings, but you can definitely see the semiconductors were on main watch yesterday, but we had quite a bit of money rotating into some software names, CRM, CRWV, Microsoft, a couple nice bounces on Meta as well. So semis have definitely been a little bit weaker as of recent. If we do want to see some semi strength, of course, we need it back above this this 576. You can see it's a little bit further away from our previous day highs. We're a little bit further away from our higher time frame key level here as well, which of course we do have this small daily gap back towards the upside. So semis are a little bit weaker. I would like to see it above our previous day highs if you want to see any sort of continuation. So the semiconductors key levels that we have marked out, we have our previous day highs number 1, and plus we have our higher time frame key level 576. So if you like to see continuation above our previous day highs or now above that 576 for continuation, as I mentioned, with the semis being a little bit weaker, we're going to focus on a few other names than most of the semiconductors that we do have. IWM, this one as well, higher time frame, bouncing off our key level support, still needs to get back above that 300 if we want to see any sort of potential flip back towards the upside here. And with that being said, let's hop on to some tech names that we have coming into today. So that being said, if you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. I'm gonna grab some water here and then we'll head on to the tech names. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. What time does the market open? The market opens in roughly an hour and a half. It opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As for Tesla, higher time frame wise, we are currently retesting that earnings high plus our 340 here on the higher time frames as well. So push up, came back, now we're retesting that 340. We just like to see a hold on the daily time frame for a push back up into that 370 and above. So this is what we have for Tesla. If we go on to the lower time frames, what are the key technical levels that we have marked out? We have that 340. We also have that 350 that we're able to reclaim yesterday. Higher time frame key level plus that previous day highs. Now the levels that we're going to have marked out coming into today is just going to be that previous day highs, 356. So we can have this level marked out. If we do want to maintain upside above our previous day highs, hold now. Above that previous day highs, above that 356 here as well, for the potential push up into that 360. If we do reject here off that 356, then we can see a push right back down in towards that 352 and potentially below. So for Tesla, I'd say we're leaning slightly bullish on the daily time frame. We are bullish. But based off intraday price action, we're above our previous day highs here in the pre-market. If we can get back above, hold above that previous day highs, we can see some continuation towards the upside. But now we need it above our 356 hold for a potential flip back towards the upside here. All right, let's take a look at AMD. So AMD, as of recent, this one has just been more so consolidating after we had earnings, which was earlier in August. You can see just a lot more consolidation here. We had a nice little reclaim back above that 465, which was that earnings low. But now you can see we're pushing right back towards the downside after rejecting off this 490. So for AMD, Coming into market open, what are the key technical levels that we have marked out? The main levels that we have is just that 490. You can see a little bit of rejection earlier into the week, and then yesterday just kind of pushed right back towards the downside with a couple of the semis pulling back. So now for AMD, higher time frame key level 470. Keep this on watch. You can see how many touches we've had this week off this area. If we want to continue to push back towards the upside, the hold of this 472 is necessary for a pushback higher. If we do get underneath that previous day lows and hold, be cautious of this potential flip here on AMD all the way back down in towards this daily gap that we have created here, which was earlier into the week. So let's keep an eye out on AMD here off our previous day lows coming into market open. As for NVIDIA, of course, we had earnings yesterday and we had a nice push towards the upside. Post earnings play up into that 226. Next levels that we have on the daily time frame is going to be all the way back up into that all-time highs. So for NVIDIA, the key technical levels moving forward is just going to be this old pivot high. This is back from earlier this month, which is August the 17th. So key technical levels that we have marked out is going to be that 228 here, which as you can see, we have a little bit of a touch in the pre-market yesterday as well. We can actually just refine this level. If you want to see some upside today, we like to see the break above, hold above that 228 for a push up in towards that previous day highs, along with that 230. I'm not that interested, of course, in shorting NVIDIA. After earnings, this one's fairly bullish. You could see a little bit more consolidation, especially if we do reject here today, but I'm not really interested in looking for any shorting opportunities. We're well above our previous day highs, we're well above our previous day lows. We're gapping up after earnings. This is going to be a very tough short in my opinion. I'd much rather be waiting now for any sort of pullback, for a break above that 228 as well, for a push up in towards that all-time high. So that's going to be one of our main objectives on NVIDIA within the next week or so. We're going to be looking for a push up into that all-time highs. Besides that, those are the key levels that we have. As for Apple, let's take a look at this on the hourly time frame. So Apple, after earnings, a little bit more consolidation here, but now we're trying to reclaim back above key technical areas. So Apple, the key levels that we do have marked out is that 316. You can see how many touches we have. If we can break back above 316 hold, we can see a move back up into that daily gap fill. I do like Apple quite a bit here. We're showing strength, higher lows are being built above that 316. We can see that push back towards the upside here. Key technical levels that we have marked out intraday is going to be that 316 area. This is where we broke underneath. And you can see we're just kind of consolidating. Right now we're breaking outside of this consolidation. Let's keep an eye out for a push up into that 319 and above here on Apple. So today we can just kind of refine these into this previous day highs area. 315 is going to be key. Let's keep an eye on that previous day high hold for a push up into that 319 on Apple coming into market open. All right, let's take a look at Google here. If we're taking a look at the daily time frame, we're at kind of a key level support. Google has been a little bit weaker. We're just kind of right at this daily gap fill here as well. So for Google, this is a good spot. After this bounce from earnings, this was earlier in July, push back towards the downside. This is the exact area we want to see hold. This is our higher time frame level support as well. As long as buyers can step in above that 330, touch here, touch here. This is where we broke out from, and of course, touch all the way back from June. We can see a mini mean reversion back up in towards that 350 here on Google. So that's what we have marked out coming into today. So let's just keep an eye on that higher time frames. As for Microsoft, this is one of the more bullish tickers. Next level that we do have is really going to be back into that all-time highs. But as for Microsoft here on the hourly time frame, you can see we ended up building up higher lows, broke it back above that 490. Nice break and retest yesterday right off this level for a push up in towards the highs. Now we're holding above this 500. Next level is going to be that 510 on the higher time frame. So we just like to see it build higher lows, push up into that 510. which is the high that we created in that first kind of initial push after earnings towards the upside. So for Microsoft, this one fairly strong. I wouldn't be surprised if we push up into that 512 coming into today here. So above our previous day highs, continuation up into that 512 here. As for Meta, this one is still kind of rejecting here off that 600. So you can see how many touches we have off this general area. Tried breaking above it here, broke back underneath rejection, came back up a couple days ago. We had some news and another rejection right off that 600. So moving forward, at least for Meta, I would like to see a minimum back above that 580. Personally, above that 600 is going to be key for continuation. So for Meta, key technical levels that we have marked out, we can just kind of mark out that previous day highs and that previous day lows. These are the key levels that we have marked out. We also had an inside bar day yesterday. So we can mark out just that opening range plus that previous day's range if we want to see continuation now above 580 along with above our previous day highs at a minimum. As for Amazon, this one right back into that previous all-time highs. Let's keep an eye on Amazon. Not so much a day trade, but higher time frame wise, this is a good low risk area for Amazon to push back towards the upside here. 256. We want to see buyers step in. If we're on the hourly time frame, you can see broke underneath this level. Let's keep an eye out for a reclaim today, back above that 258 for continuation back towards the upside. Of course, if we do stay heavy, we can be looking for a pushback down into that previous day lows, which is at 255. As for Netflix, this one I do like on the higher time frames as well. Once we're able to reclaim back above that 76. So moving forward, right, we had that nice earnings reversal. As long as we can maintain above that 76, we can be looking for a pushback towards the upside here on Netflix. You can see the EMA starting to flip here as well. As long as we maintain above 76, we can be looking for a reversal. We can flip back green on the year here on Netflix, not that far away, which is going to be kind of our 90 key cycle level. And of course, for SpaceX, one of my favorite tickers on the higher time frames, this one's consolidating and tightening up here on the daily time frame. Don't be surprised if we have a big move on SpaceX coming soon. You can see we have this daily downtrend forming. We're trying to flip here on the EMAs here as well. We haven't closed above our previous day highs as of yet, or with a strong candle close. So all we're waiting for now on SpaceX, right, one of the major key levels that we have on the higher time frames is this 140. So let's keep an eye on SpaceX here today. You can see how many touches we have off the general area. We did break above it, but now I'd like to see kind of the maintain above that 140 for a pushback towards the upside here. So SpaceX is on watch today. We'll keep an eye on this one next week as well for a pushback towards the upside. This one does have room back up into that 150, which is that IPO low that we do have. So we'll keep an eye on this ticker. At least for today, 140, and then we'll keep an eye on that previous day highs. All right, with that being said, Palantir, we'll take a look at this one. This was one of our main watches yesterday. Definitely daily chart was bullish. Software's been leading towards the upside. Palantir had a nice move. Yeah, with that being said, if you guys do have any charts or any tickers, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below. Do you make most of your money on options on Tesla? Most of these other tickers have big spreads and don't move. Tesla was one of my main tickers that I traded back in like 2022. Now we have a variety of tickers that we look for, but Tesla is one of the main ones that definitely has lower spreads and a lot more volume. Other names that you can keep an eye out for: NVIDIA, MU, a lot of the semiconductors, names that really have any sort of higher time frame breakout. Palantir has been moving nicely as well. So if we're looking at this one on the daily time frame, as you can see, Palantir, higher lows, 9 EMA was defended that 170. Next levels that I have all the way back up and towards all-time highs. So don't be surprised if Palantir moves up into that all-time highs area. We have our 200, we have that 210. If we go into the daily time frame, key technical levels that we have marked out now on Palantir is just going to be that previous day high. So if we go into the 15-minute time frame, we can get rid of a couple levels here today. But for Palantir, the main levels, at least today, is going to be that previous day highs. And then we can also mark out this down close candle. This also is valid, plus that down close candle that we had intraday. So today here on Palantir, if we maintain above our pre-market lows, continuation towards the upside, above our previous day highs here is in play towards the upside as well. So after this nice breakout, you had a nice reclaim yesterday of that previous day highs on Palantir, push towards the upside after breaking outside this kind of consolidation. So we're able to reclaim yesterday above that previous day highs. Now we just want to see some follow through in the markets. As long as you can maintain above that pre-market high, we can see a push up into that previous day highs and above. Let's take a look at MU. MU, a little bit weaker yesterday, so really nice move in the pre-market on MU, but the semis sold off right off the bat. So nice pop higher, semis immediately sold off, and then some software names started moving higher. But for MU now, this one's more so just going to consolidate, still in kind of this consolidation period. Just kind of ranging right around this 900. So not too much to talk about. You can see the past 2 months on MU, more so kind of consolidation. We are still technically above that kind of flat top area, which we broke out from earlier. If we can maintain above that 920, we can see a pushback towards the upside, but I'd say we're consolidating more than anything here on MU. Major key levels that we have marked out is this 920. So we can just mark out this general area. If we can flip back above, we can see that continuation higher. If we hold underneath that 920, we can see a push right back towards the downside. But semiconductors, especially memory, consolidating a lot more. So I'd just be a little bit more cautious if you are trading a couple of these names in terms of higher time frame direction. SNDK, same thing as MU. We had a nice pop. We'll keep an eye out for a potential kind of higher low being built on SNDK. This is kind of our level that we broke out from. So as long as you can maintain above that 1400, we can see that push back towards the upside. Right, this is one of our main levels that we have marked out. So if we can maintain above that 1400, we can see that push back higher. Of course, if you get underneath, then we do have to be a little bit more cautious on some of the semis. INTC. This is a name that's it's been beaten down quite a bit on the higher time frame wise. If we're taking a look at INTC, my key level here is going to be that like 80 key psych. And I also do have a higher time frame key level as well, which is really that 60 along with that daily gap. So for INTC moving forward, this one's been beaten down quite a bit. We have like a 50% retracement from the highs. I do like INTC quite a bit right off this 80 key psych. It could come down into 70. That is potentially only if the market does want to drop more. But 80 is a really good area here on INTC, even down into that previous all-time highs, which would be right 70. INTC potentially could get to this area. That would be a really solid buying opportunity. Right now, this is a pretty good opportunity right here for a bounce play. Right off that key level support, which is that 80 key psych. So I would like to see something similar like this play out here on INTC, where we consolidate a little bit more and potentially have a W-shaped recovery. But at least for intraday price action here on INTC, key levels that we do have marked out is just going to be that 9150. This is the level that we rejected from multiple times. Key technical areas that we need to get above if we want to see continuation higher. WDC right at that earnings low. So WDC is in a good area here as well, 440. SK Hynix, same thing. A lot of these semiconductors, more so memory names, are consolidating a lot more here. So I'd just be a little bit more cautious on memory. As for MRVL, this one had a pretty, I wouldn't say a big drop. It had a 7% drop. Implied volatility was plus 10%, plus or minus 10%. So only down 7% here. We are rejecting kind of right off that 240 area, which is the area that we broke down from. We're actually not even dropping that much in comparison to, this is literally our Monday's lows. So Monday, we had a nice pop, we had some news, and then with earnings, we're just right back down into that Monday's low. So not even that big of a drop here. For MRVL moving forward, I can see now after earnings, potentially another rejection here off that 230 for room down in towards 210. On the daily time frame now, I would just like to see it kind of maintain above this like 200, 210. So daily time frame still technically intact as long as you can maintain above that 200 for a pushback towards the upside. Okay, with that being said, let's go on to some tickers that we have. Let's take a look at some software names. So ServiceNow, this one had a nice push towards the upside, one of Trump's bigger positions, back up into that 130. So software's been moving nicely as of recent. Key technical levels that we have marked out is just going to be this old high back from, this was earlier this year in May. So for ServiceNow, this one above our previous day highs, we can definitely see a push towards the upside here. So keep an eye on that 139 break. Retest for continuation towards the upside. We have CRM. This one had earnings gap up yesterday plus continuation. So for CRM, next kind of key levels on the higher time frames, all the way back up into 270. Key technical areas that we have on CRM. Yesterday we had that pre-market high. Nice continuation. Key levels today, right? If you do want to see a day 2 earnings play, you would like to see some sort of pullback, right? Either that pullback down in towards that 245 or now break and retest above our previous day highs for continuation. A name that I do like a lot is AVGO. Keep an eye on AVGO more so in terms of like shares. If you are interested in AVGO, a software name that has been being down, and a couple like this semiconductor has definitely been being down, AVGO is in a good spot. Broadcom right off this previous all-time highs. You can see gap down with earnings, multiple touches. I do like Broadcom a lot off this 360. More so like the semiconductor theme been being down right into a key level support. So low risk for a pushback towards the upside here. Let's go on to a couple other tickers. CRWD, CrowdStrike. This one back at all-time highs. So key technical levels that we have marked out is going to be that all-time highs here on CrowdStrike. Higher lows are being built on the daily time frame, of course, with that earnings gap up all the way back up into that all-time highs area. Key levels now is just going to be that 226. Maintain above that 226. Hold for a pushback towards the upside. All right, let's read a couple more tickers. Do you offer coaching? No, not one-on-one coaching. I do have the accelerator. We do have Traders Lab as well, but that's more internal. If you are interested, there is some links in the description. All good stuff. Thank you for doing this. Noob here. Glad you enjoy it. Did you already cover NQ? Yes, that is correct. Let's take a look at a couple other names. ARM. Daily time frame here for ARM. More so are at that 240. This is a really low risk spot for ARM, right? You can see after this initial push higher came all the way back down into that 240. This is a really good area for ARM for a potential kind of double bottom here on the daily time frame for a pushback towards the upside. So this is ARM's kind of right into a buy zone, right? 240, 220-ish, really good spot for a move back towards the upside. Let's take a look at a couple other names here. Someone's mentioning BE. BE, Bloomberg Energy been being down, really solid key levels that we have marked out as well, which is that 160. Right now, we kind of have two major levels. We have 160 along with that like 240. Right now, the best opportunity is here right off that 180, right? More of a bounce opportunity for a push higher. If we can flip back above that 240, then we can potentially see a reversal here on the higher time frames. Yeah, MRVL today, after this earnings gap down, MRVL, it is definitely a lot more weaker. Don't expect it to reverse here today, but 230 is my key level. If we pop, most likely going to get a fade back towards the downside. If you get underneath that 220, you can definitely see a push lower here as well. MRVL most likely will trade down into that 210, probably not today, but within the next couple of weeks, probably trade down, probably head lower first before it heads back into that earnings high. But yeah, with that being said, let's go on to the main watches coming into today here. So the game plan, as I mentioned, with the overall markets, we're going to be looking for the reaction here off that previous day highs on the Qs. SPY, similar thesis right into that previous day highs. Let's keep an eye on this reaction here coming into today. What are some of my main watches? We'll keep an eye on Tesla above our previous day highs for a push towards the upside. For NVIDIA, above this 228 here, NVIDIA, let's keep an eye on for that flip back up in towards 230. If we can get above that 228, 230s in play, 236 is our next key level, which is at all-time highs. Other names that I like today as well is going to be Apple above that previous day highs, 315. And then we'll definitely keep an eye out on some software names that have been moving nicely. Microsoft above our previous day highs for continuation towards the upside here. So we'll keep an eye out on Microsoft. As for some other tickers that I do like, SpaceX, more so on the daily time frame, not really expecting too much unless we can break above that previous day highs, but we'll keep an eye out on that next week. And then we'll also keep an eye out on Palantir. This one's fairly strong yesterday. We'll keep an eye out for continuation here today. And then all the other semiconductors, right? I'm not as bullish on those ones. We'll still keep an eye on those, and then we'll keep an eye on MRVL post earnings. So main tickers, we'll keep an eye on NVIDIA today above that 228, Tesla above our previous day highs, Apple above our previous day highs here, Microsoft above our previous day highs, and then we'll keep an eye out on Palantir as well. So with that being said, that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that. If you did, appreciate it if you guys drop a like and sub. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day and a good weekend. And I will see you guys all next week. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the weekend. Peace.